The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.
Renegade, never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day, cause I'm a renegade. Never been afraid to talk about anything. Renegade. Never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day, cause I'm a renegade. Never been afraid to holler about anything.
Okay, welcome in to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
And yes, today we have a big show. We're going to talk about everything Chicago sports related. The Hawks and Bulls have been off the last two nights, which has just felt very weird. There hasn't been any Chicago sports going on the last two nights.
Right, and since the Bulls keep losing, it's not the worst thing.
It's not the worst thing in the world, right? Although they had a nice win at the 76ers, but then again, who doesn't beat the 76ers? I think they're 0-8 now.
Yeah, who doesn't beat the Philadelphia 76ers at this point? You really feel like you let your team down and your city down if you lost to them now, because I think they've lost like 17 in a row going back to last season.
yeah, something like, I think they ended the season on a 10-game losing streak, something like that.
And it got them the number 3 pick in the draft. And with the Blackhawks, Duncan Keith is expected to be coming back soon, which is good for them because they've got some points they need to make up. It's still early in the season. We'll be going over the NFL, recapping last week.
We'll give our picks, of course.
Absolutely, our tradition. And then, of course, the Bears. They got another win, and is it good or bad for them at this point? We'll talk about that later.
We will.
There is some big baseball news with the November GM meetings. The Angels traded for Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, that just broke about an hour ago, so we have that for you, and we'll tell you any other news that breaks as well. But, yeah, we'll start off the show talking about sort of the Bulls and the Hawks. We'll sort of intertwine them. They play in the same in the same arena anyway at the United Center. Hawks play tonight at home. It'll be against the New Jersey Devils. They lost in New Jersey
4-2 the other
last
day.
Week.
That was not good. They need to recoup coming back home. Hopefully the United Center crowd is loud because they're going to need it. They've had some trouble recently, and they've got to start winning some games. They got some ground to make up in their very tough division.
Yeah, they do. I mean, if you look at the division they're in, it's kind of, it's almost not fair. It's like the Cubs last year were in the best division in baseball. The 3 best records came from the NL Central. And now this year, St. Louis is good. Winnipeg is very good early on. Minnesota's a good team. Dallas is good. There's a lot of great teams in that Central division, and it kind of, is it kind of sucks that the Hawks are sort of in that situation where they're going to have to beat, especially the teams in their division, and they haven't really done it yet.
That's why we were saying that loss to the Blues was just unacceptable. It was unacceptable that game actually went to overtime.
Yeah, when you're up 5-2 after the first period, you feel pretty good about yourself. You wouldn't assume that Corey Crawford would give up 6 goals in a game, which I don't know if he's ever done that.
Yeah, that's bad. It was a terrible overtime loss. They should have won that game in regulation. Yeah,
for sure. They should have won that game in regulation. The thing that it kind of sucks that they're in a tough division, and in hockey, you really got to beat the teams in your division. And I believe the Devils and Hawks have the same record. They're both 8-6-1. So the Hawks are only 8-6 this year. That you probably would have
6-1.
Yeah, you probably would have thought that they would have started a little better than that. The big problem was Hossa was out for a while. He's back now. Hopefully they can get some
coming
scoring.
Back soon. He just does everything: penalty kill, power play, puck moving defenseman, one of the best defenders in the league. And when you lose him for 4 to 6 weeks, you lose a lot for your team. Yeah,
you certainly do. And again, the Western Conference in hockey is just so strong. It always is overall, and there's a lot of good teams on the rise. Of course, Patrick Sharp now is with Dallas, and
he's doing very well. Kind of the change of scenery to re-energize him, and I'm happy to see him do well. Still on a winning team with Johnny Oduya. happy seeing Brandon Saad suffering and the worst team in the league.
Yeah, that's a bad situation that the Blue Jackets are in. They're not a very good team.
Oh, I think it's hilarious.
It's a bad situation for them.
You know, everyone assumed Sharp would be gone, and you didn't want to trade Sharp. They were kind of more forced to. Mm-hmm. Saad decided to get greedy, so, good riddance. I hope you enjoy losing.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you. It's kind of weird, and of course, there was a lot of moves that the Hawks made during the offseason, and so Saad decided to go elsewhere, get a little more money, and not play on a championship team.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, really, that's the thing. You're going to a team that's going to miss the playoffs, probably won't get past the first or second round ever in the playoffs while you're there.
Right, and so that's just sort of it's sort of an odd situation, but yeah, he decided to go, and I wonder if the Hawks sort of miss his scoring as some of the newer guys try to work together and gel together and be a pretty good team.
Artemi Panarin has looked very good. Artem Anisimov, who they got in the trade, has been very good all year. He's the second-line center they've been looking for a long time. And then Marco Dano, who's a young player they got in the side trade. We saw him score his first goal with the Blackhawks against the Blues last week.
Yeah, we did. Let's move on to the NBA real quick.
The Golden State Warriors are...
Oh, my gosh. Did you see Steph Curry's plays last night?
I saw it. I don't know. I saw it. Trust me. I saw it. Some of these, there's like circus shots that have no business making it to the hoop or hitting the backboard, or let alone like swishing in.
The best thing about it, he plays his best games against Memphis. I think last week Memphis played at Golden State. Steph Curry had two really ridiculous Jordan-esque layup type things. And
his half-court shots are the ones that are more miraculous.
Yeah, and then last night in Memphis, he had his half-court shots. The funny thing is, last time he played in Memphis, it was in the playoffs against the Grizzlies. I think that was either the second or third round of the playoffs. Steph Curry had a buzzer beater to end the third quarter there, and last night he had a buzzer beater to end the third quarter there. So he's done that in consecutive games at Memphis at the FedEx Forum.
It's crazy, like that one that was like an alley-oop from half court.
Right, and he thought he got fouled on it.
Yeah, look, he got fouled. I'm just like, how does that go in?
It's pretty remarkable. He's really... I mean, how can you? And it's one thing, to just make these shots. I mean, cool that's okay, but sometimes players who make these shots aren't very good players overall. But that's not the case with Steph Curry. He's like, top 3 best player in the NBA. He has been for a couple of years now, and he's just continuing to make these great shots. And Golden State's still undefeated. I mean, if any team's going to break that 72-10 by the 95-96 Bulls, it's going to be these Golden State Warriors.
I just don't see it happening. And
no, I don't think it's going to happen, but
I just feel like injuries are going to hit them. They stayed relatively healthy last year.
Yeah, I think they ended up with 15 losses last year, so that was only...
They won 67 games in the regular season, and another thing, there's just going to be nights where Curry doesn't shoot the ball well. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, well, normally, especially last year on those nights, that's when Klay Thompson would score 38 points in a quarter, like he did that one day, that he did that one game, which is just ridiculous, too. It's just it's pretty remarkable what they've been able to do, and they've got a very good coach in Steve Kerr. He's probably, I mean, who better to coach than somebody who was playing for Phil Jackson anyway? So, I mean, it's just it's a great situation all around for Golden State, and I mean, I like them a lot. They're a very likable team. They're a very watchable team in the NBA too. They're not like the boring Bulls of the last 5 years. So, yeah.
No, I mean, they're a fun team to watch because they're always shooting and making these threes. I mean, it's not like a lot of just like driving and posting up and scoring. It's a lot of just flat out shooting.
Right, and they've done a very nice job. And some of the other teams in the West that have been playing particularly well to start the season, the Utah Jazz have a very young team, and they've been playing really well. You got them that have been playing pretty well, and the Portland Trailblazers, despite all the people that they lost, LaMarcus Aldridge, Wesley Matthews.
Did you hear that story that him and LaMarcus Aldridge didn't like Lillard?
Yeah,
he was mad that Lillard was getting most of the attention.
There was a lot of internal issues with that team. That's why they sort of blew it up in part. But Portland's been playing well without any of them, and of course, LaMarcus Aldridge is with the Spurs now. I believe Wesley Matthews is with Dallas.
He is. He signed that contract with Dallas, and Mark Cuban gave him the option of not signing that deal after the DeAndre Jordan fiasco.
Yeah, that was another fiasco. And, of course, last night, the Clippers and the Mavericks played, and Dallas ended up winning. Dirk had some clutch shots at the end. He had this bank three that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing Dallas play very well.
Oh, yeah. I hate the Clippers, and I hate their new logo. I can't stand that.
I know. I like the
I
Mavericks. I may like them just because I like Mark Cuban.
Yeah, I like Mark Cuban, too.
I think he's a really... I love his ego. He's like one of those few guys that says, like with the whole DeAndre Jordan fiasco, he said he'll get everyone the story, and usually when that happens, it doesn't come, or if it comes really late, and within a couple days he had released the entire story.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt. He's one of the richest people in the country, too. But
yep. He wanted to buy the Cubs when the Tribune put him for sale.
Right, he was one of the people, but the Ricketts family ended up doing that, which would have been the right decision, and it turned out to be the right decision, because Mark Cuban would have bought, he would have tried to buy a championship.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that they would have hired Theo or torn everything down to try to build it. Mark Cuban would have just been giving him money after money, and just giving him
Could you imagine? I mean, he would have owned the Dallas Mavericks and the Chicago Cubs. I mean, that's just... That's a little. I mean, it's very weird. Like if he would have been able to own two sports franchises like that.
Jerry Reinsdorf does.
Yeah, Jerry Reinsdorf does, but he doesn't really have any control.
Yeah, his type of ownership is outdated now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he got his 6 championships with the Bulls, but he said, and he's publicly said this, his one White Sox championship is much sweeter to him than any of the Bulls championships. Which
it's just the whole loyalty nonsense. That's why. I mean, Mark Cuban would not hesitate to fire. Mark Cuban would probably fire Robin Ventura during the season.
Yeah,
he would not hesitate to fire people. He doesn't care about the loyalty. It's about putting the best product on the field.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll probably wrap up maybe some NBA, just some of the teams that have been surprisingly good this year so far. We'll move into football. We'll talk about the Bears' big win over the Chargers. They're 3-5. They realistically should be 5-3 right now. But we'll talk about all of that coming up next on Sports Renegades, SportsTownChicago.com. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.